Hi guys, welcome back. We are here. So let's dive right into the lesson. Let's go ahead and begin. And I'm going to ask God to be here in this learning. Dear Heavenly Father, anyone who sees this video, anyone who listens to it, speak to their hearts, enlighten them, help them grow. Take off the blinders of their eyes so they can see. In your Son's mighty name, amen. And it came to pass at time that departed, Judah, okay, Yahuda is the name of it, Yahuda, okay? Judah, son of Jacob and Leah. So this is son of Jacob, son of Leah, right? Which is the first wife that Jacob ended up getting that he didn't really want to get because he wanted Rebecca, right? From his brothers. So this is the departed Judah from his brothers. So Judah parted from his brothers. Okay. Now who is Judah? Here we go again. Son of Jacob and Leah. Okay. And settled. So Judah settles near a certain Adulamite, right? Inhabitant of Adulam, whatever that is. And his name was Hira or Hira. See what the pronunciation. Shira or Hira. Because the C might actually be silent. Hira. And saw there Judah, a daughter. So that means when it says, and saw there Judah, that's how this Old Testament works. Right? Judah saw a daughter of a certain Canaanite, and whose name was Shua. Okay? And he married her. So Judah married her. I keep wanting to say Jacob. But anyway, Judah married Shua. Okay? And went into her. That means had intercourse. I like the way that they do this nicely. How they say this nicely. And went in to her. Vayabo Eliha. Okay? So she can see. Now there's the context of how we know what this means, right? So you have to look at context. It comes after and before. He went into her. Well, maybe he went into her home, he went into a restaurant or whatever. No, he went into her. How do we know? She conceived. She got pregnant. Okay? Become pregnant. And bore a son. That means she had a son. And called his name Okay? Means awake. Okay, awake. This is the eldest son of Judah. The eldest and the oldest son of Judah. Son of Shelah and grandson of Judah. Okay. And she conceived again, and so she got pregnant again. So apparently Judah got busy and bore a son again, and she called him Onan. Onan, strong, second son of Judah. Now look at what the context is. This second son of Judah, slain by God for not fulfilling the Levitical requirements to beget a child with the wife of their brother. Okay, so literally, what it says, he was literally unalived or killed because he did not fill the that's the Levitical law, right? Requirements to give a child to the wife of his brother. Okay, and she conceived yet again. So he's apparently again very busy. Third child. We don't know how much time has gone by during all of this. We only know that it mentions 3 kids. We don't know if it's a couple years in between or like right after or whatever, right? Yet again bore a son and called him Selah, right? Selah, a petition, the youngest son of Judah. So we had the oldest son, now we have the youngest son. So that lets us know by the name, right? By the definition, they're the youngest son. And you can't see where it says off the screen, the youngest son of Judah, but that's what it reads, okay? Selah is the youngest son. So that means there's no younger than him. So this Judah only had 3 sons. And he was at Chizib. So who was at Chizib? Judah was at Chizib. When she bore him, meaning when the woman gave birth to Selah, Jacob was at Chizib. Chizib or Vikziv, I don't know how to pronounce it, and took Judah a wife for So he didn't pick a wife for himself. He picked a wife for one of his kids, for his firstborn, right there, his firstborn son. And her name was Tamar. Okay? But was firstborn of Judah, wicked. So was not a child of God. Right? Was a very wicked person. Wicked, right there. Okay? Firstborn of Judah was what? Wicked. Ra. Bad, evil. Look at all the description. Wicked, bad, evil, deeds, actions, thoughts, general distress, misery, injury, calamity, all sorts of bad stuff. In the sight of Yahweh. Singular. Okay. So as we've been learning this singular context, and I have to correct something, okay, in previous videos. I really do. If I didn't mention it, okay. So although this Yahweh is singular, okay, it still encompasses the entire Trinity. It's just doing it in a singular way. Okay? Because look at it. Jehovah, the existing one. In other words, the one God. The proper name of the true God. Now, why do we know that Yahweh is, even though it's a singular name, why do we know that it's the Trinity? Because right there, the proper name of the true God. Who is the true God? The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Okay? That's the true God, right? The Trinity is the true God. Okay? All 3 of them. Not meaning 3 gods, 1 God. Okay? In 3 persons, right? So this Yahweh, even though it's singular, it still encompasses the entirety. So the way I'm going to relate this to you, and this is a new discovery that I just got a hold of, okay, by doing some research, okay? So, yes, I'm teaching you guys this stuff. I'm sharing this stuff with you guys, okay? But I'm still learning, okay, as I'm going. So please understand that, okay? I don't care what level of teacher you are still learning as you're going, okay? All right, so let me relate this to you in a better way. Kevin's soul, right? Kevin's spirit and Kevin's body is 3 in 1. Plural, right? Plural context. That plurality of Kevin's spirit, Kevin's soul, and Kevin's body is 3 in 1, right? Spoken in a plural sense, right? But Kevin, right, is singular context, speaking about the same Trinity of who Kevin is. Soul, spirit, body. It still encompasses the entire Trinity, just from a different noun, from a different perspective, from a different point of view. Instead of coming at it from a plurality aspect, they're coming at it from a singular aspect. Okay? And killed him, Yahweh. That does not mean Yahweh was there, right? Who killed who? Yahweh killed Okay? And said Judah to Onan. right? Onan, who's Onan? His second oldest. Go into the wife. So right there, Judah is giving an order to Onan to go into the wife, meaning to lay with her, of your brother and marry her. So not just lay with her as in, hey, go have adultery, right? Because first of all, the brother's dead, right? The brother, right there, the brother, is wicked, and he was killed by Yahweh, literally, right? And killed him right there, literally, right? Died to kill, to have executed. Whether it was by his own hand, physically, or whether it was by orchestration of Yahweh because of his wickedness. Okay? He killed Okay? Very wicked, right? So is dead, right? And Onan, the wife, not Onan the wife, but the wife, whoever that was, right? Wife that was supposed to be given to right? Was to go and lay with Onan. Okay? So first of all, the wife is a widow now, right? Freeing her from the covenant of being a wife. She's now a widow. And Judah is saying, hey, go into her. But don't just go into her and have intercourse, because that would be fornication. But go into her and marry her, right there, and marry her, right? And be a responsible person and raise up an heir, right there. There's the reason why. An heir to your brother, right? But knew Onan that not his would be the heir. So there was something that Onan did not know, okay? But knew Onan that not his would be the heir. And it came to pass when he went into the wife, right, of his brother, that he admitted on the ground. In other words, we know what, okay, here's the context. He went into her. What did he do? He emptied his seed, emptied his seed, right? Spoiled his seed on the ground, lest he should give an heir. So right there, he didn't want to do it, okay? Right, to his brother. He didn't want to give it. So he wasted his seed, and in doing so, displeased in the sight of Yahweh, the thing which he did. Okay? So literally, he made God upset. Therefore, he killed also him. Whoa! So wait a minute. Yahweh killed and Yahweh also killed Onan for not being obedient to his dad, more specifically for not doing what the Levitical law said to do. Okay? He killed him also and said, Judah to Tamar, okay, his daughter-in-law. Now, Tamar would probably be the widow of yeah. So the widow of okay, the widow of okay, remain a widow in the house of in your father. So basically, go back to your dad and remain a widow until is grown Selah, the third son. So basically, go there, stay there with your dad. Don't give yourself to any other person. Stay there until my youngest son grows up. For he said, least die also he, like his brothers. So he's like, I don't want Selah to die like my brothers. Like his brothers. And went to Tamar and dwelt in her father's house. Now, in the course of time, died the daughter of Shua, wife of Judah, okay, and was comforted Judah, and went up to the shearers of sheep, he and Harah, right, Harah, his friend, the Edomite, at Timnah. And it was told Tamar, saying, behold, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah, share his sheep, right? So she took off her garments of widowhood, for her, and covered herself with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in the entrance of Enaim, that was on the way to Timnah. For she saw that was grown Selah, and she not was given to her as a wife. So she saw that Selah was grown, but yet Selah was not given to her as a wife. Okay. So she's going into the situation, and she's like, okay, you said, go back to my dad's house, wait there, do not take another man, and you will give me your son Selah. Now she's finding out, okay, he's old enough. What do you take? What's taking you so long? And when saw her Judah, right? That would be the dad. Remember, the dad lost his wife. He thought she was what? A harlot, because she had covered her face. So he didn't know it was Selah. It was this. He didn't know it was. He didn't know it was her. Okay, whatever her name was, right? And he turned to her by the way and said, "Come now, let me come into you." For not he didn't know that is his daughter-in-law. She was. So what does that context give you right there? That he didn't know, right? So he's having a lack of knowledge, right? So what is that encompassing? Even though he's doing this, the note's wrong, right? He's committing an act of agnoema, which is a sin of ignorance, okay? So she said, "What will you give me that you may come in to me?" Okay? And he said, "I will send you a young goat from the flock." So she said, "Only if you will give me a pledge until you send it." Right? So I want a promise. I want your word. Right? Because you know what's going on in her heart already. She's like, "Hey, dude," she's like, "Brother, bro, dude, I already know who you are. You didn't keep your promise with son Selah, so I want some sort of promise." But she didn't reveal who she was. And he said, "What pledge that shall I give you?" So he's like, "What do you want?" She said, "Your signet and cord." So what is a signet? A seal, ring, a signet ring, right? And a cord. What is a cord? A cord or thread, twisted. So cord, and your staff. So his staff, like his branch or his walking staff. Okay? That is in your hand. So give me your ring, whatever this cord is, and your staff in your hand. And he gave them to her. And then he went into her. What happened? She conceived by him. So she arose and went away and laid aside her veil. So she kept that veil on the entire time. You would think that this guy would have spent enough time around this woman to recognize her voice. You would think. But for whatever reason, he didn't recognize her. Okay? She took off her veil when she went away, not when she was in front of him. And she put on the garments of her widowhood. Right? So her widow garments. Now, why is that important? Because if she had worn those garments, he would immediately recognize that this is a widow. And sent Judah, the young goat, by the hand of his friend, the Adullamite, to receive his pledge from her, from the hand of the woman. But not he did find her. So he couldn't find her. He's like, "Where's my ring? Where's my staff? I can't find this woman." And he asked the men of the place, saying, "Where is the harlot? She was in Enaim by the roadside." And they said, "No, there was in this place harlot." So there was no harlot in this place. We have no prostitutes here, in other words. So he returned to Judah and said, "I cannot find her." So who's the one that's asking? Is it Judah? No. It's whoever was sent out. Okay. And the men of the place said, "No, there was in this place no harlot." And Judah, "Let her take them for herself, lest we be shamed. For I sent this young goat, and you not have found her. And it came to pass after 3 months, so 3 months go by, that was told Judah, saying, has played the harlot Tamar. So there's the name of the woman, right? The daughter-in-law. So 3 months later, Judah finds out, oh my goodness, I slept with my daughter-in-law. And furthermore, behold, she is pregnant. By harlotry, adultery, fornication, prostitution. Okay, harlotry. So said, Judah brought her out and let her be burned. He literally wanted her dead. He's like, no. When she was brought out, then she sent to her father-in-law, so that sent to death, saying, by the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant. So even though he realizes, so why is he wanting to burn her, right? At this point, he doesn't realize he's the dad, right? He only knows that she's pregnant, and he was planning on giving Tamar to his son, Selah, right? Right? He's planning on giving Tamar to his daughter Selah. To his son Selah. And he realizes she's pregnant, and it's by harlotry. So he wants her. She's like, you wicked woman, not realizing what was actually going on. Okay. So in his heart, he's like, I'm doing what is just, even though technically it was wrong because he didn't know. But he didn't know he didn't know he wasn't wrong. That's why it's never a good idea to assume. Okay? And he sent to his father-in-law, saying, by the man to, so basically, she sent the things that she had. To whom these belong, I am pregnant. And she said, determine, please, to whom is the signet and cord and staff. So she sent that out, probably by a messenger, more than likely. And she sent out the ring, the cord, and the staff. So acknowledged them, Judah, and said, she is more righteous than I. Right? Literally, she is more righteous than I. Upon thus, not I did give her to Selah, my son. And never again more he knew her. So he never went back to lay with her again. And he also didn't give her to Selah because of what had happened. Okay. So the question would be, why would it say she is more righteous? Now, to be honest with you, I don't have the answer for that in its entirety. We only know that this is more right, to be more just, be more right, to be more justified, right? So wait a minute, hold up. You mean to tell me that harlotry is right? No. Look at the context. She is more righteous. Not her action is more righteous. She, right? However that plays out, however you want to get that in your head, right? Of what she did somehow is okay. All we know is the details. We know that Judah was planning on giving her to his son, Selah, after the other two were killed by God. Okay? And then she did trickery, right? That's on purpose. So that would be hamartia, right? She did it on purpose. Tricked him, got pregnant by him. And somehow she's still more righteous. Okay? I personally don't get that. I really don't. And I'll be as straight honest as I can with you. I don't have an answer as to why she's more righteous in that aspect. I will look it up though. Okay, so let's look at why she's more righteous. Because I really wanted to know this. Because it puzzled me. Okay. This is just AI overview, right? Tamar is considered more righteous than Judah because she courageously took action to ensure that she would have an heir, fulfilling the obligation of Judah had denied her. So right there, Judah had denied her the obligation, right? She probably knows that, hey, I can only get pregnant for a short time, You're not giving me your son to get pregnant by Selah, right? I want your words to be fulfilled. I want to have an heir. You gave your word. Go back to my dad, right? So Judah, by contract, was negligent, right? So that was a verbal contract that he had with Tamar, right? A verbal contract, right? And he was negligent in his duty to provide his son Selah for her, even though the law of time required it, right? So there was something in the law that required it to happen. In the end, he publicly admitted that she was more in the right than he was because he failed to uphold his responsibility. So let's look at the detail. Tamar's actions were to secure her right to an heir. After her first two husbands died, Judah promised to give her his third son, Selah, but never did. Right? He never actually did. When she became pregnant through her deception, she was able to prove Judah was the father by showing the signet and the cord and the staff, thereby saving her life because he didn't burn her at the stake. This forced Judah to recognize that his failure to give her Selah was more wicked than her actions to get the heir that she was entitled to. Judah was negligent in his duties. He was failing to provide for Tamar and secure an heir for his deceased sons. Otherwise, that lineage would go bye-bye if there was no sons. A duty he was obligated to fulfill. This neglect ultimately drove her to resort to deception to get what was rightfully hers. Okay? Judah's confession validates her righteousness. When Judah saw the proof, he exclaimed, "She is more righteous than I, since I did not give her to my son, Selah." The statement is a clear recognition of his wrongdoing and his own moral failing compared to Tamar's determined pursuit of her rights. Okay, so there we go. There's the context. So as we see, now we understand why she's more righteous. I did not understand it. I did not get it. I'm thankful that I went and looked it up. Okay. So so acknowledge them, Judah, more righteous than I, right? And he never knew her again. Never had, anything to do with her sexually again. And it came to pass at the time for giving birth that behold, twins were in her womb. So that in Tamar's womb were twins. And so it was when she was giving birth that the one put out, right, his hand and took the midwife, right, and tied on his hand a scarlet thread, saying, "This one came out first." Okay? And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, behold, came out his brother. And she said, "How have you broken forth? Upon you is a breach." Therefore was called his name Perez. Right? Perez means breach. Twin son of Zerah, of Judah, by Tamar. So this is the children of Judah, brothers of brothers of the other ones, even brothers of Selah. But this would be, so let's see, it would be a different mother, but the same dad. So it would be half brother. Okay. So by Tamar, an ancestor of two families of Judah, the Hezronites and the Hamulites, right? And what does it say? This is important because what does it say at the end? From the Hezronites came the royal line of David and Christ Jesus. Ooh, very important. And afterward came out his brother, who had his hand, the scarlet thread, what was placed on it. And his name was Zerah, or Zara, which means rising, right? Son of Reuel, and grandson of Esau, one of the dukes of Edomites, but in this case, twin brother of Perez, sons of Judah and Tamar. Descendants are called Zarhites, Ezrahites, and Israhites. Right? Now, there's probably, I'm going to hold it there for a minute, but there's more you can see. Okay? So you can read this. Okay? The Gershonite Levite, son of Edah of Ada, the Ethiopian or Cushite, invader of Judah in the reign of Asa, who defeated the invaders, probably the same as the Egyptian king Usarken the first and Usarken the second. Okay, so guys, first thing we have to understand is Levitical law. Okay, we're required to bring an heir. If your sibling died, we're required to marry the woman who was a widow, so that there would be an heir that would come from that lineage. Okay, so that was right to do in the Levitical law, right? Which was why it was seen as okay, even though she was doing harlotry and trickery. Do it. Okay. The only thing I can say about this is this: when God declares something okay, it's okay. When God says it's not, guess what? It's not. The other thing I want to mention into here is look at what happened to and the other brother. The one he was wicked as can be. What happened? God took him out. Second one, he didn't fulfill his oath. He did not fulfill his Levitical law. Right? This is the Old Testament, by the way, just so you know. Okay, it doesn't apply to us. Okay, he spilled his seed on the ground, and therefore did not give a child to the wife, which would have been his wife at the time, the widow. He was taken out by God as well, by whatever means God set forth. Judah became a liar and a deceiver. Well, a liar directly, but a deceiver by saying, "I'm going to give you my son Selah," and then not doing it. So Tamar's like, "No, you're going to live up to your word. You're going to be a person of your word, right? And even though I have to use trickery to do it, you're going to be a person of your word so that your lineage can continue." Okay? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining. This was for Sunday, by the way, Sunday the 9th of November. Okay? I will see you again hopefully on the 11th of November. Okay? Even though technically this is the 10th of November. It's a day late. Sorry.